Hey there, movie buffs. Today, we're diving into the magical world of the witches. A captivating tale that blends the struggles between good and evil, the power of friendship, and the courage to stand up for what's right. The Witches is a spellbinding visual feast with stunning CGI that brings the story to life. The Witch's Story. Veil of Secrets. The Introduction. Tapestry of Witches. In the loom of twilight, where shadows weave, a tapestry of witches, in magic they believe. Threads of starlight glimmer, and whispers of the past, a tapestry of secrets, woven strong and vast. From the roots of ancient forests, where the wild things roam, to moonlit glades and rivers, where spirits find their home. Each strand tells a story, each color speaks a name, of power intertwined. In the dance of flame, silken strands of laughter, and echoes of the wisdom, through generations flowing under ever-watchful skies. With hands raised to the heavens, they craft their art with grace. In unity and strength their magic finds its place. Crimson threads of courage, stitched with silver bound by trust and kindness. They embrace the old and new, for in the weave of power a harmony is found. In the tapestry of witches, where love and magic fierce, golden strands of wisdom spun from countless years, the tapestry unfolds, revealing tales untold, of witches fierce and tender, both brave and bold. In the heart of their creation lies a circle strong and true. Aye, so let the wind carry whispers, let the wildflowers bloom. In every stitch a promise, in every knot a tune. Together they are woven, in the fabric of the night, a tapestry of witches, shimmering with light. In the mist-laden woods of rural England, Lyra knelt by a small brook, her hands hovering over a bundle of herbs she'd gathered at dawn. The air was still, the early morning fog, wrapping around her like an ethereal cloak. Her lips moved in a near-silent chant as she worked, whispering words that seemed to blend with the murmurs of the stream. Each syllable a fragment of an ancient language only the woods and stars could understand. Her eyes intense, focused, glowed in the dim light, the only sign of her magic as she performed the healing ritual for old Mrs. Greaves from the village. Greaves lay on a patchwork blanket beside the brook, her face pale and weary from the fever that had plagued her for days. Her breathing was shallow, and she looked at Lyra with a mixture of gratitude and weariness. So many in the village came to Lyra in their time of need. The undercurrent of fear and mistrust was always present. "Thank you, child," Mrs. Greaves whispered, her voice frail yet thick with sincerity. "The others, they don't know, they don't see as I do." Lyra nodded, her expression calm, though she felt the weight of those words. The village's suspicions lingered around her like shadows. Persistent and ever watchful, they spoke of her as the Witch of the Woods, a label laced with both reverence and caution, and it had kept her on the outskirts of their lives, always close, yet never truly welcome. As she continued her ritual, Lyra could hear the whispers of the village in her mind. They murmured about her unusual ways, her solitary existence, and her connection to the forest. Some believed she had a pact with spirits, while others claimed her mother had been a witch before her. Though the stories were filled with both fear and awe, Lyra rarely paid them any attention. She understood that her role as healer and outsider was a precarious balance. With a final wave of her hand, the herbs released a faint glow, and Mrs. Greaves sighed, her breathing easing as the fever began to break. Lyra offered her a soft smile, helping her to sit up. "Remember, Mrs. Greaves," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "Rest and drink the tea I left for you. You will better in a day or so." Her eyes full of gratitude, as Lyra guided her carefully through the woods and back toward the edge of the village. But as they neared the cottages, Mrs. Greaves gave Lyra's hand a brief nervous squeeze before slipping away. She didn't dare be seen with the witch for too long. Gossip traveled fast in a place like this, once alone. Lyra let her gaze drift over the cottages, as sharp eyes noticing the half-drawn curtains and faint silhouettes behind them. She felt the weight of their eyes, the judgment and curiosity that seemed to follow her wherever she went. The villagers' glances were like stones in her path, constant reminders of the acceptance that she had earned here. The village, with its ancient stones and narrow, winding paths, seemed rooted in superstition as much as in the soil itself. For generations, stories of witches and dark magic had been woven into the fabric of its history. Tales of curses and healers who lived apart from society, yet held power over it. And now, Lyra had become part of that lore, a living legend whose presence kept the villagers both wary and watchful. Though she tried to focus on the good she did, healing the sick, helping those in need, she knew that in times of fear, suspicion would turn on her. It always did. A chill prickled down her spine at the thought, but she quickly brushed it off. The forest was her true refuge. It was here, among the trees and the quiet whisper of the leaves, that she felt at peace. But something in the air felt different that morning. The mist seemed heavier, thicker, as if holding a secret yet unspoken. A sense of foreboding settled over her, hinting at a change coming, a storm that would soon test the delicate balance between her world and that of the village. As she walked back into the shadowy woods, her thoughts were a quiet murmur, her mind drifting over the past and future in the same breath. She felt like a leaf caught between currents, unsure which way the wind would blow. And yet beneath it all, a small, determined flame burned inside her, a will to survive, to carve out a place for herself, even if that place remained at the edge of the village's world. This was only the beginning. The quiet peace she had maintained for so long was about to be shattered. All she knew was the whisper of the trees, and the gaze of a village forever teetering between reverence and fear. The woods awaited her, mist hanging low over the path like a protective shroud. She would face whatever came next, she told herself, and perhaps, in time, they would see beyond the shadows they'd cast over her. But for now, she walked alone, the witch of the woods. Both loved and feared, healer and outcast, waiting for the winds of fate to shift once more. Thanks for listening to The Witch's Story. If you feel that this book has resonated with you, feel free to like and subscribe to hear more content.